The war was over. The academy was safe. But no one said thank you to the girl who saved them all. Emily stood outside the main academy hall. The silver building was full of lights and voices. Inside, the school leaders were giving medals to brave students, those who had helped during the attack. Emily wasn't on the list. She watched through the window as Tharn received a medal. Yes, Tharn. He had lied, tried to use her, and wanted to start a war. But now he was acting like a hero. He stood tall, smiled for the cameras, and bowed as the crowd clapped. Emily's hands curled into fists. K9 stood beside her. You should be in there. Emily shook her head. I don't care about medals. I care about truth. K9 tilted his head. But the truth is being buried. They're hiding what really happened underground. Emily looked at the sky. That weapon almost destroyed everything. If they want to pretend it never happened, fine. But I won't forget. Just then, a student walked past her. A young alien with blue skin and big yellow eyes. He stopped. Are you the human girl? He asked softly. Emily nodded. The student looked down, then said, My brother was in the classroom when the drones came. He said you saved them. Thank you. Emily blinked. Oh, you're welcome. The boy smiled and ran off. K9 turned to her. You see, some remember. Even if the leaders don't speak, some know what you did. Emily gave a small smile. That's enough for me. Later that night, Emily sat on her bed. The cube was now dark and quiet. It hadn't glowed since she shut down the weapon underground. It felt like it had gone to sleep, maybe forever. She looked out the window at the stars. Do you think it's really over? She asked K9. No, he said. The leaders are pretending. The weapon is still down there, just powered off. What if someone finds it again? Emily nodded. That's what I'm afraid of. K9 walked to her desk and opened a small screen. I found something, he said. A secret file, hidden deep in the academy system. Emily stood up and looked. It was a map, not of this planet, but of many others. Stars, planets. Some had red circles around them. What is this? Emily asked. K9 replied, places connected to the weapon. Other locations, other cubes. Emily stared at the screen. You mean, there might be more? K9 nodded. I think the cube you found was only one part of something much bigger. Emily took a deep breath. She thought it was over. But maybe it was just beginning. The next day, Emily sat alone in the cafeteria. No one talked to her. Some gave her strange looks. Others ignored her. Many students still believed the lies, that Tharn had helped save the school, that the war was caused by outside invaders only. No one wanted to hear the truth. And no one wanted to believe a human girl had saved them all. K9 brought her food tray. You know, he said, on some planets, they write songs for heroes. Emily laughed. I don't need a song. I just want to keep learning. K9 looked serious. If you want, we can leave. Visit the places from the map. Find the other cubes. Learn the real story. Emily paused. I came here to study, she said. But now, I think I need to do more than that. K9's eyes lit up. A journey. Emily smiled. A mission. That evening, she packed her small bag, a notebook, a flashlight, the cube, quiet, but still warm. As she zipped her bag, the door knocked. It was the blue-skinned boy again. My brother said you're leaving, he said. Emily nodded. Yes, I have to go. The boy looked nervous. Will you come back? Emily paused. I don't know, she said honestly. But I'll try. He held out a small metal pin, a circle with the Academy's logo on it. My brother said you deserve this more than anyone. Emily took the pin. Her eyes watered. Thank you, she whispered. She didn't get a medal on stage, but this meant more. It was quiet, honest, real. Raltek watched from behind the glass, Ilara was standing alone outside. A black robot raised its gun and fired again. But just like before, the laser stopped in the air. Then it turned and flew back, hitting the robot in the chest. The robot exploded. Everyone inside the academy was silent. Students stared at the screens. No one understood what they were seeing. "She's not normal," one student whispered. "She's not just human," said another. Even the teachers looked shocked. Outside, Ilara walked forward. 5 enemy robots moved to attack her. She didn't run. She didn't scream. She lifted her hand. A strange light glowed from her palm. Blue, bright, soft but strong. The ground under her feet cracked slightly. The robots opened fire. 5 lasers shot toward her. Fast. She moved. Not like a normal human. She moved so fast that her body blurred. She jumped into the air, spun, and landed behind the robots. Before they could turn, she hit one with her elbow. Its metal body cracked. Another one turned, but she kicked its head off. Raltek's eyes went wide. "That's impossible." The headmaster leaned closer to the screen. "She's using combat moves I've only seen in military elites, but better." Ilara didn't speak while she fought. She didn't shout or growl. She was silent, like a machine. Every move was clean, perfect, and deadly. Soon, all 5 robots were on the ground, broken. But more were coming. Back inside, the teachers argued. "She's dangerous. She just saved us. Who trained her? Where did she come from?" Raltek stepped forward. "She came from Earth. But Earth doesn't train fighters like this. Not anymore." The headmaster looked at the screen again. "She's not here by mistake. Someone sent her." Ilara stood still outside. Her eyes stared at the dark sky. More ships were arriving. Black, sharp, silent. She spoke quietly, almost like talking to herself. "They found me." Flashback. 2 years ago. Ilara sat in a dark room. She was younger. Wires were connected to her arms. A voice spoke from the shadows. "You are not a normal human, Ilara. You are part of Project Nova, child. You were created to fight." Ilara looked at her hands. "But I want to be normal." "You can't," the voice said. "But you can hide. Go to the stars. Learn. Wait. One day, war will find you again. When it does, wake up." Back to present. Raltek ran to the door. "I'm going out there." A teacher stopped him. "No, you'll die." "She's alone," Raltek said. "We can't let her fight for us like this." He rushed outside. Ilara turned when she saw him. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "You saved us. We should fight with you." Ilara looked at the ground. "No, you're not ready." Behind them, 10 more robots landed. They formed a circle. Raltek pulled out a small laser knife. "Then make us ready." Ilara paused. Something changed in her eyes. She stepped forward and stood beside Raltek. "Then watch. Learn." The fight began. Ilara moved like a shadow. She used hands, feet, elbows, every part of her body. Raltek tried to fight too, but he was slower. One robot grabbed him and threw him against a wall. "Ilara," he shouted. She turned and raised her hand. The robot froze mid-step, stuck in the air. She closed her fist. The robot crumpled like paper. Raltek stared. "That's not tech. That's something else." Ilara looked at him. "They changed my DNA. Mixed it with something not human." Inside the academy, the headmaster gave a new order. "Lock all doors. Prepare for full attack. But keep eyes on Ilara. She's the only reason we're still alive." After the fight, Ilara helped Raltek up. "You okay?" she asked. Raltek smiled. "I think I broke something." She smiled for the first time. "You fought well." Raltek looked at her closely. "Who are you really?" Ilara looked away. "I was made in a lab. trained in silence, hidden in space. I don't have a real family. No home. No past. But now, Raltek asked. She looked at the academy, at the students watching her from behind the glass. Now I have something to protect. Suddenly, the academy's main screen flashed. A message appeared in red. We do not want the school. We do not want the students. We want her. Everyone turned to look at Ilara. The war had only just begun. The enemy was here. Subject 5 led the charge. And Ilara knew the only way to stop him was to face him. Ilara stood on the battlefield, her fists glowing with blue energy. Her heart raced, but her mind was calm. The enemy ships filled the sky like dark clouds. Black robots swarmed the ground. Subject 5's voice echoed in her mind. Ilara, I always knew we would meet again. Ilara gritted her teeth. Not like this. Raltek stood beside her. He looked at the army approaching. We can't stop them all. We don't have to stop them all, Ilara said, her voice cold. We just need to stop him. The enemy leader, Subject 5, appeared. He was taller than any other robot, with a mix of metal and human parts. His eyes glowed red, just like Ilara's. He stepped forward, his voice deep and powerful. You were meant to be mine, Ilara, but you chose this weak path. You're wrong, Ilara shouted. I'm not weak. I protect. Then you will die protecting, he replied. The battle started. The students fought hard. Dronex and Yuna led the charge, taking down enemy robots. The tech team built barriers and traps to slow the enemy's advance. The scouts moved silently through the shadows, gathering information, reporting back. Ilara charged at Subject 5, her blue energy lighting up the dark sky. She moved fast, her body a blur of speed. He raised his arm to block her, but she was ready. She twisted in the air, kicking him hard in the chest. The ground shook as he stumbled back. You've grown strong, he said, wiping away blood. But I was made stronger. He reached out, his arm turning into a cannon. He fired. Ilara leaped to the side, narrowly missing the blast. Raltek fought beside her, dodging lasers and striking with his knife. We need to keep him busy. The others will deal with the robots. Agreed, Ilara said. She focused on Subject 5 again. She needed to end this. The sky above them darkened, and the enemy ships began to fire. Laser beams rained down on the academy walls. But the students were ready. We can't let them break the walls, shouted Yuna. She led the shooters to the high ground, taking down enemy ships one by one. The tech team worked quickly to activate the academy's last line of defense. A giant laser cannon built into the mountain. Ilara faced Subject 5 again. This time, she could feel the power inside her growing. His strength was no match for hers. Why did you turn against us? She asked, her voice filled with pain. I wasn't turned, he said. I chose this. I chose power. You're still weak, Ilara. Still afraid of who you are. Ilara's eyes burned. I'm not afraid. You are. With a scream, she rushed at him, her energy bursting out of her hands. She struck him hard in the chest, and he stumbled back, falling to one knee. Subject 5's eyes widened. This isn't possible. It is, Ilara said. I'm not your weapon. I'm my own. She gathered all her energy and launched a final blast of blue light. It hit him in the chest, and he screamed. The blast tore through his armor. Sparks flew. He fell to the ground with a loud crash. The academy was silent. Ilara stood over the fallen figure, her chest heaving. She didn't feel victorious. She just felt tired. The enemy ships began to retreat. Without their leader, they were lost. The students cheered. They had won. But Ilara didn't smile. Raltek walked up to her, his voice gentle. You did it. We did it. Ilara looked down at the ruins of Subject 5. I didn't want to kill him. He was like me. Once. I know, Raltek said softly. But you did what you had to do. The academy's walls were broken, but the students were safe. They had defended their home. Elara turned to face them all. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We can't stop here. We have to keep fighting. For each other. For the future." The students nodded, standing together. The headmaster approached Elara. "You've led them well. You've saved them." Elara shook her head. "I didn't save anyone. We saved each other." In the distance, the last of the enemy ships disappeared into the stars. The academy was broken, but it wasn't defeated. Not yet. Elara looked up at the sky. The stars were peaceful again for now, but she knew it wasn't over. And whatever came next, she would be ready. The end. The space classroom went silent. All eyes turned to the door as it opened with a soft hiss. A girl stood there, holding a small bag and looking nervous. Her skin was light brown, her eyes green like a forest, and her hair was short and black. She looked very different from the others. She was human. Her name was Emily Carter, and she had just arrived from Earth. For the first time in history, the Galactic Academy had accepted a human student. No other humans had studied here before. This place was built for aliens. Students from every corner of the galaxy. Some had wings, some had tails, some floated, and some glowed. But none were human. Emily stepped into the classroom, trying not to trip. Her heart was beating fast. The teacher, a tall alien with silver skin and no mouth, nodded. "Class, this is Emily Carter from Earth. She will join you for the rest of the term." No one clapped. No one smiled. Emily gave a small wave and sat at the back. She could feel everyone staring. Some whispered in their own languages. A few laughed. "She's so small. Humans are so weak. Why is she here?" Emily heard them. She looked down at her desk and tried to ignore the voices. The class started. The teacher showed maps of distant planets and talked about space energy. Emily listened carefully. Back on Earth, she loved science. She worked hard to pass the Galactic test, the only way humans could apply to alien schools. But now she felt like she didn't belong. After class, she walked to the cafeteria. It was huge, with floating food trays and tables that changed shape. Emily picked a meal that looked like soup but smelled like metal. She sat alone. "Is that human food?" Someone joked. She didn't reply. Then, a small robot rolled up to her table. It looked like a metal dog with 2 arms and bright blue eyes. "Hi," it said in a cheerful voice. "I'm K9, Student Unit 54A. Emily smiled for the first time. "Hi, I'm Emily. You're human. That is interesting. I have never met a human." "You're the first one to talk to me," she said. K9 blinked. "Why would others not talk to you?" "Because I'm different." K9 paused. "I am different too. I was built, not born." Emily laughed a little. "Well, I'm glad we're both different." From that day, K9 sat next to Emily in every class. He explained strange alien terms and helped her find her way around the academy. Slowly, Emily started to feel a little better. She even began answering questions in class. But not everyone liked her. One student, a tall green alien named Tharn, stared at her every day. He never smiled. He always sat near her but never said a word. One morning, Emily found a strange object under her desk. It looked like a small black cube, glowing slightly. She picked it up and looked around. "Did someone drop this?" she asked. No one answered. She put it in her pocket. Later that night, in her dorm room, the cube began to hum. Lights blinked on it. Emily held it up. "K9, what is this?" she asked through her comlink. K9 looked at it through the screen. "That is not school property. It may be a tracking device or a signal sender. You must be careful." Emily's heart beat faster. "Who would put this under my desk?" "I do not know," K9 said. "But someone is watching you." Emily locked her door. She didn't sleep much that night. The next day, something strange happened. One of the teachers was missing. The school announced that he had left for personal reasons, but Emily didn't believe it. She remembered the cube. She remembered the way Tharn had stared at her yesterday. Something is wrong, she told K9. K9 scanned the school news. Strange energy spikes were found in the science lab last night, he said. They matched the signal your cube gave off. Emily looked around the hallway. Other students laughed, talked, and walked like nothing was wrong. But she felt it. A storm was coming. Someone had brought her here for a reason. And soon, something big was going to happen. That night, the sky above the Galactic Academy turned strange. Emily looked out her window and saw flashing red and blue lights moving fast above the school. They weren't normal ships. They didn't follow the flying paths. They came from the dark side of the planet, the side where no one was supposed to go. Suddenly, her comm link beeped. It was K9. Emily, he said, a signal just came from your cube. It activated again. Emily quickly took the black cube out of her drawer. It was glowing, but not softly like before. This time, it flashed faster, almost like it was talking. K9 sent her a file. I decoded part of the signal. It's in a very old alien language, the kind used during wars. Emily felt cold. Is it a message? Yes, K9 said. It says, the key is here. Phase 1 begins. Emily didn't understand. What key? What phase? I don't know yet, said K9. But this is not just a prank. Something serious is happening. Emily held the cube tighter. She remembered the missing teacher. She remembered Tharn, the green alien boy who always watched her. Was he part of this? Did he put the cube under her desk? The next day, things got even stranger. In the hallway, 2 students were arguing. One yelled, I won't follow your orders anymore. The other pushed him into the wall. A teacher came, but the fighting stopped quickly. Still, the anger in their eyes didn't go away. Later, in class, the lights flickered. The teacher stopped talking. Then a voice came through the speaker, but it wasn't the school voice. It was deep and slow, and it spoke in the same old war language from the cube. Only K9 and Emily understood it. It said, test the weapon. Begin in Sector 4, K9 whispered. Emily looked around. No one else reacted. Maybe they didn't understand, or maybe they were pretending. That evening, Emily and K9 met in the library. We need to find out what this cube is really doing, Emily said. K9 opened his scanner. Follow me. The cube is sending energy to somewhere in the school. They moved quietly through the halls, careful not to be seen. Most students were in their rooms. The halls were empty and dark. Finally, the scanner beeped. It's under the science wing, K9 said, behind this wall. There was no door, just a smooth wall. But K9 found a small hole the size of a finger. He pressed a code. The wall opened. Behind it was a staircase, going down into the dark. Are we really doing this? Emily asked. K9's eyes glowed. You want answers. They are down there. They walked down carefully. The air was cold. The lights were dim. At the bottom, they found a large underground room. Emily gasped. Inside, small spider-like robots were building something. Long black tubes, metal spheres, and blinking control pads. They looked like machines of war. K9 scanned them. These are weapons, hidden from the academy. Who's building them? Emily asked. Suddenly, they heard a noise behind them. A voice. You shouldn't be here. Emily turned around. It was Tharn. He walked out of the shadows, holding a small round device in his hand. His eyes glowed with red light. You were never supposed to find this, he said. But you were chosen, Emily. The moment you stepped into the academy, the war began. Emily stepped back. Why? What do you want from me? You carry something inside you. A code. Old human DNA. It can unlock an ancient weapon from the old galaxy war. That's why we let you in. Emily shook her head. You mean this was a trap? Farn smiled. Not a trap. A plan. Suddenly, the spider robots turned toward them. K9, run, Emily shouted. They ran back up the stairs. The wall closed behind them just in time. They kept running until they reached Emily's room. Emily sat on her bed, breathing fast. They used me. The whole time, I was part of their plan. K9 placed a hand on her shoulder. But now you know. And we can stop them. Emily looked at the cube again. It was still glowing. Then let's stop them before it's too late, she said. Outside, the strange lights in the sky came closer. The war was coming, and it had already started inside the academy. The battle was over, for now. But while the students repaired the academy, Ilara went below ground, to the place no one was allowed to go. The secret vault, where the truth about her past waited in silence. The door was hidden behind the training hall. Only the headmaster had the code. But Ilara didn't need it. She placed her hand on the scanner. It glowed blue. The door opened. Behind it, a long dark hallway and secrets from another life. Raltek followed her inside. Where are we going? To the truth, Ilara said. They reached a round metal room. Inside were old files, broken machines, and large screens filled with faded data. Ilara looked around slowly. This is where they built the program, she said. The program that made me. Project Nova Child, Raltek asked. She nodded. They didn't just take me. There were others. Children stolen from dying planets, mixed with alien DNA, trained as weapons, turned into something not quite human. Raltek touched a broken screen. A child's face appeared, eyes glowing, face blank. That's not you. No, Ilara whispered. That's Subject 3. I was Subject 9. Raltek looked around. What happened to the others? I don't know, she said. I escaped. But the others, maybe they didn't. Maybe they're still out there. She stepped to another console and pressed a button. More files opened. One file had her name, Ilara, Subject 09. Another had red letters, Classified. Do not open. Ilara opened it. A video started. A man in a lab coat spoke. Project Nova Child has failed in some ways, but Subject 09 is different. She shows emotion. She fights back. She protects others. That makes her unstable, but also powerful. Another scientist added, if she ever escapes, she must be destroyed. She will not join us. She will become their hero. The screen went black. Raltek stared. They knew you'd become something more. They feared I'd stop them, Ilara said. Suddenly, another screen turned on by itself. A shadowy figure appeared. Not Liv. A recording. But it looked straight at her. Ilara, it said. She froze. That's Dr. Varn. He created the Nova Child Project. The recording continued. If you're watching this, you survived. You escaped. That means the others didn't. Or maybe they turned. Raltek looked at her. Turned. Ilara nodded. Turned to the enemy. The video showed a symbol, a dark circle with red lightning inside it. We tried to make peacekeepers, the voice said, but most of them became hunters. One in particular, Subject 5. He leads the enemy now. He remembers you, Ilara. He wants you back, or dead. Raltek whispered. He's the one leading the attack. Ilara's eyes burned with energy. Yes, and he won't stop. Not until I face him. The room shook. Red lights flashed. An alarm rang across the school. Incoming ships. Enemy Wave 2. ETA. 30 minutes. Ilara turned off the files. We know what's coming now, she said. And who? Raltek followed her back to the surface. In the war room, the headmaster waited. "You went into the vault," he said. "I had to," Ilara replied. "You knew what I was." "We didn't know what you would become," he said. "But now I see it." Ilara stood in front of the students. She told them the truth about Project Nova Child, about the stolen children, about the one who now leads the enemy. Subject 5. The students didn't run. They didn't panic. They listened. Then Dronik stood up. "Then we fight him," he said. Yuna nodded. Together. Raltek stepped forward. "We're not just students anymore. We're his worst problem." Ilara smiled. A sad smile. Because deep inside she knew. To stop Subject 5, she might have to do something she feared more than anything. She might have to destroy someone who was once her brother. In the dark space far above the academy, a ship floated like a shadow. Inside, a figure stood tall, half metal, half human. His red eyes glowed. A small voice in his head whispered, "She remembers." Subject 5 whispered back, "Good." Then he ordered his army forward. The final battle was coming. And Ilara was ready. Deep under the academy, in the place no one was allowed to go, something powerful was waking up. Emily held the glowing cube tightly in her hand. Her heart was beating fast. She and K9 stood at the secret elevator hidden behind the science wing. The same elevator that had taken them underground once before. "This is it," K9 said. "The final level. The weapon is down there." Emily nodded. "Let's shut it down before they use it." The elevator doors opened. Cold air rushed out. They stepped inside. As the elevator went down, the lights flickered. Emily looked up. The walls were made of old metal, scratched, burned, and patched with pieces of different alien tech. This place was not part of the original academy. It was older. Much older. "Who built this level?" Emily asked. K9's voice was quiet. "Not the school. This place was built long before. Maybe even before the Galactic War. I think someone hid the weapon here, waiting for the right person to wake it up." Emily looked at the cube. It pulsed with light. "I'm the one they were waiting for," she whispered. The elevator stopped. The doors opened to a giant room. It was dark, silent, but massive. The walls stretched out farther than she could see. Strange machines floated above the floor. In the middle stood a huge black tower, covered in red lights. Around it were hundreds of spider drones, not moving, but ready. "The weapon," K9 said. "That tower. It's the core." Emily stepped forward. Her cube glowed brighter. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed from the tower. "DNA match found. Weapon ready for activation." The drones around the tower started to move. Their red lights turned on. They raised their weapons. K9 pulled Emily back. "It's starting. They're trying to force you to activate it." Emily shouted, "I'm not doing this. I don't want a war." But the tower didn't care. It spoke again. Key identified. Begin energy transfer. A beam of light shot from the tower and hit Emily. She screamed. The cube in her hand floated up and spun fast. Lights from the ceiling blinked wildly. "Stop it," K9 yelled, firing at the tower. But his blasts bounced off a shield. Emily fell to her knees. Her hands shook. The cube was pulling something from her. Her energy, her thoughts, her memories. Then suddenly, she pushed back. "No," she shouted. The cube stopped spinning. The beam of light stopped. Emily stood up slowly, breathing hard. And the tower's voice changed. Key rejected activation. Rewriting protocol. The red lights turned yellow. The drones paused. Some of them powered down. K9 blinked. "You stopped it. You broke the connection." Emily looked stronger now. "I'm not their weapon. I'm not anyone's weapon." Suddenly, they heard footsteps. A door opened. Farn walked in. He looked angry. "You could have ended it all," he yelled. "One order, and the academy would be ours. Emily stepped in front of K9. You mean you wanted me to destroy it? Take over everything? Farn pointed to the tower. That machine can shut down every ship in the galaxy. No more war. No more control from the Central Council. We would be free. Emily shook her head. You don't want peace. You want power. Farn raised a small blaster. Then I'll take it myself. Before he could shoot, one of the drones moved and stood between him and Emily. Another one followed, then another. The drones were protecting her. What? Farn stepped back. Why are they? They chose me, Emily said. And I chose peace. Farn fired at the drone, but the shot bounced off. The drones rushed forward. Farn turned and ran. K9 smiled. They're listening to you now. You're in control. Emily looked at the cube. Then it's time to shut this down for good. She walked to the tower. The cube floated from her hand and entered a slot on the side. The red lights turned white. Shutdown confirmed. Weapon deactivated. The entire room shook. The tower's lights went out. The drones powered down. It was over. Back at the surface, the enemy ships were retreating. Without the underground weapon to support them, they lost control. The school's defense ships chased them off the planet. The academy was safe again. Later that day, Emily sat in the garden, watching the sky. K9 sat beside her. The leaders know everything now. You're a hero. Emily smiled. I didn't want to be a hero. I just wanted to learn. You did, K9 said. And you saved everyone. Emily looked up. Peace was still fragile. But now, there was hope. And it had started with one human girl who came to study.